Okay, on to game 2 against Mike's lizardmen. It's your pretty standard lizardman list. He has a Scarvet on the far left, a unit of skirmishing skinks, a unit of camos. The green slant is a slant on Law of Metal in a big unit of Saurus. Next to that, a Scarvet, a slant on Law of Death, the purple one. As he's out by himself, I'm going to assume that he's ethereal, which he turns out to be. Then 2 units of 10 skirmishers, a lone salamander, 2 units of cohorts, and a unit of pterodons in front of him, a unit of skink croxigor, and 2 salamanders. On my right, I have a unit of dryads, my 3 units of Glade Guard. The dryads are there to try and intercept. My plan was to either put them in the building or to try and charge the salamanders, because I reckon they could tear them up pretty nicely. Then in the centre I have my big unit with the flaming banner with my level 4 and my BSB in there. Next to that I have a unit of 6 Treekin. Next to that, and on my far left, there's a big gap, then I have my 10 Dryads and my 2 Treemen. They're as far out there as possible to try and stay out the way of the Law of Metal, Searing Doom magic missiles that just absolutely annihilate Treemen. So on my first turn, I push up with my Dryads on the right just a little bit, just to make sure to give myself that little bit extra charge range if he decides to push up too far. So I shoot off the pterodons, who I either shoot them off to a man or they just run off the board over a couple of times. Either way, they don't play much of a part in the rest of this. And in my magic phase, I managed to get a fireball off on that unit of skirmishers in the centre. On my left, I've pushed up with my dryads a little bit to see if I can intercept his Scarvet and possibly take out some of his skirmishers. So he pushes up, and in my turn 2, I charge the skink croxigor with my dryads, mainly because I couldn't fit the entire unit in order to charge his salamanders, which was well played by him. But I reckoned the dryads could probably take off, or at least make a big dent in that skink croxigor unit. Otherwise, I push up to try and get some units in short range of stuff, notably the salamander. And you can also see that my BSB has jumped out of the big unit, basically so I can split my fire a bit more and shoot something with the big unit and then decide whether to burn my Hail of Doom or not. And my mage doesn't really accomplish much. I think I try and get the dwellers off on his lone slan. I either don't meet the casting value or he scrolls it. Either way. So in the combat phase, the dryads, I lose 4 dryads. I'd already lost 1 to some speculative salamander shooting, but I take off about 10 skinks. But he is steadfast on a 7 because of the croxigor holds, of course. Lizardmen are like dwarves, they don't run anywhere. Essentially unbreakable. Yeah, so that combat just goes on for a little while. Now in his turn, and I apologise for the blurry picture, he declares a charge on the unit of Glade Guard on the right, who fled. They stood and shot, didn't do anything because salamanders are stupid like that. You can't hit them, they're skirmishers even though there's only 1 of them. And he then charges the same unit with his Scarvet, who I flee from, which means that he still cannot redirect with his salamander, which is nice. His Scarvet redirects onto the BSB's unit, who flee. No reason to give him that unit, for free, really. So that's a couple of failed charges in the centre for him. Yeah, so he makes sure his, I think he moves his Death's Land back into the unit of Saurus, and the Metal Slan is moved into that unit of Skirmishers. I had blocked his Scarvet off with my Dryads, which he charges in, and I reckon, that'll take a turn or two. But I've got 2 tree men there basically to put into him, and that should take care of the Scarvet. 1-up rerollable and no 1-up rerollable against 10 strength 6 attacks a turn. He's not going to last long, but we'll see how that turns out. And he puts his camo skinks into that building. Now on the right, that combat keeps going. I'm down to 3 Dryads, but I'm still causing enough wounds that he's losing combat, just about. So yeah, he doesn't have many skinks left, and hopefully my Dryads will take enough of them down that I can actually shoot the Crocscore themselves off. So in my turn, I managed to rally my units. Ooh, extra strong mints. Nom 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 nom. And on the left, my Dryads had held somehow, passing on a 5 as you do. So I move up. So 1 tree man charges into the building, the camo's in to get those points, the other one moves up behind the Dryads, so that when they flee, he will have to pursue into 1 tree man, who should hold there for a turn, whilst I get the other one in. So that's my centre. So in his turn, he's finally got rid of the Dryad, so he moves up with his Skink Crocscore on the right. He charges with his 2 Salamanders into that unit of Glade Guard, who again do nothing on the stand and shoot, even though they're at short range, and pushes up with his Scarvet. On the left, I think he's bailed both slans out, and he knows, he's probably played this matchup before. I've positioned my Treekins so that if he charges me, you might not be able to see, but because his unit's so long, 50% of the unit will be in the wood, he won't be steadfast. So he has moved up his last unit of skirmishers to redirect me. I think the other one I managed to shoot off at some point. And in the combat on the left, somehow my Dryads hold. I don't know how. Just nothing. He fluffs his attacks again, which is fucking annoying, because I now have a tree man out in the open. The plus side is, the only bonus is that the other tree man, of course, absolutely squishes all the skinks in the building. Crush, 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 stomp, stomp, stomp. On the right, now, in that combat phase, somehow, my Glade Gun ninja kicked the salamanders in the face, left one with 1 wound remaining, who fled. So in his turn he pushes up the Skink Crocscore to try and take out the Glade Guard. No, that's it. So he fled, I pursued, and that's where I landed, just in front of his Crocscore. I was hoping to catch it, but it just wasn't to be. The poor Glade Guard were too tired after ninja kicking so much salamander. So next up, so he has moved his Deathslan into a unit of Camo Skinks, which he has brought back, and I think that stems from him getting a bit nervous once I tried to dweller it, really, and he conga lines it, because of course those 6 Camo Skinks hiding behind the Slan give him protection. Yeah. So I'm bored of this Dryad combat just wearing on, so I basically shuffle my tree men up, 1 each. One goes towards wanting to get the Saurus, the other one is waiting behind the Dryads for them to flee, maybe at some point, so he can take on the Scarvet. Now I apologise for the blurry picture, but in the centre he charges my BSB's unit with a Salamander, my General's unit with the Scarvet. There you go. Right. Now then, so in the centre, somehow, my Glade Guard unit kills his salamander. No, that's it. So I had charged the salamander. Sorry. So here we go. I got that wrong. Sorry, I apologise. So in fact, my 2 units of Glade Guard, so my Glade Guard with my BSB had charged his salamander, and my unit of Glade Guard with the general had charged his general. That's it. His Scarvet. That's it. So that I could avoid putting the characters in combat when I didn't want them to. So the BSB's unit kills the salamander, an overrun, and the general's unit managed to break the Scarvet and run him down, which was nice. So in his turn, he countercharges my BSB's unit with the units of Skink cohorts, and he charges the Glade Guard with his Skink Crocscore unit, which is okay. I don't mind that too much. And moves up his last unit of Sacrificial Skinks to try and take care of, to try and block off my Treekin. So in his magic phase, his Slan on Law of Metal decides he's going to Searing Doom my Treeman. 6 dice is it. Rolls a miscast. Nah. That means bye-bye Treeman, but let's see what he's got. He rolls a 4 on the miscast table. He's got a reroll from the Earthing Rod. Gets a 4 on the miscast table. And promptly his Slan jumps down a hole. So I've lost a Treeman. He's lost a Slan. I think the net victory point gain for me is 150, 170 points, which is nice, and he's lost his general and so on and so forth, which is always a bonus. And as you can see, that ruddy unit of Dryads is still holding against his Scarvet, who just can't fight his way through a paper bag. On the right, my BSB's unit beat and runs down 1 unit of Skinks whilst the other one flees through that combat. And my Glade Guard actually do quite well against Crocscore. Nick a couple of wounds off the Crocscore, kill the last 2 Skinks, and win combat somehow. So there we are. And my BSB's unit reforms so that they can shoot at the salamander. So in this picture, I've pushed up with the Glade Guard. They're going to try. I have 20 shots, going to try and take off that Slan. He thinks he's safe because he's ethereal, but of course, my general has the Resplendence of Luminescence, which gives her entire unit magical attacks. And my tree can charge the Camo Skinks. In this combat on the left, finally the Dryads have broken. He runs them down and gets into my Treeman. And on the right, to everyone's surprise, my Glade Guard managed to beat his Crocscore and chase him down, which he was understandably rather upset about. So I've now got these 2 units facing his last salamander. So I charge both of them into his Sally, thinking between them and my BSB as well, 3 attacks, strength 4, striking before him, I should be able to whittle off enough wounds, but the salamander only has 2 attacks. I thought it was worth the risk. And my Treekin finally get into his Saurus, and as you can see, his purple Slan is still alive. I only managed from 20 odd shots to take off 2 wounds off him. I don't know, I just wasn't rolling that well. And in the combat on the right, unfortunately, I'm sorry if this is a bit disjointed, but I didn't take as many pictures as I probably should have, mainly in my own turn, as you may have noticed. But over here, he's killed my BSB over a couple of rounds of combat, and basically this ends as a bit of a stalemate, neither of us really running anywhere. And in the centre, my tree can do a